A very good morning, my dears. So today we will deal with the grammar section. We'll start with the grammar section, that is voice. Okay, fine. So we have completed all the six prose, six supplementary readers, and six poems we have completed. And today we will start with the voice grammar section. Voice. This carries 2 marks. This carries 2 marks. Okay. Okay. Listen. So you may think that I think you already have studied voice in 10th standard, right? Elaborately, what I've studied, but still we will have a short recall. Okay, we'll have a recall. So, active voice, passive voice. If you see some learned people, what they will do, when they use a spoken, they will use in passive voice. They'll start to speak in passive voice. You know, rather using of active voice, if you start to use passive voice, that will looks, that will seems, or that will be very good to hear, right? Lot of learned people, right, they will use the passive voice for their spoken language, and it is little difficult to use this passive form. But once you have once if you start to practice that one, it will be very pleasant to hear. Okay, so I think this video will help you a little. So a lot of categories are there. Lot of categories are there. Okay, we will go through with this. So the first thing it is a simple present. First thing is simple presence. So anything has its formula. Anything has its formula. If you see physics, it has some formulas. Chemistry, it has some formulas. Maths, it has some formulas. Same way, English, it also a formula that will helps you to learn or to understand better grammar sections, right? So let me given you certain things. I have given you certain things as an formula. Take for example, if present simple, right? If present simple means the sentence may comes in three different things. One is verb alone, it will come. Otherwise, verb plus es. Take for example, goes, GOES, right? And verb plus es, right? So in simple present, in active form, it carries the verb may come in three different forms. So one is verb alone, it will come. Take for example, write and or go, okay, or verb plus es. Take for example, goes, GOES. That's why I'm telling you, have written you GS, right? And the third one, it is verb plus es. Take for example, receives. I have given you an example over here, right? Receives, verb plus es. And then object, right? So what is a present simple active voice formula? That is, the sentence will begin with subject, verb, or verb plus es, or verb plus es plus object. And in the passive form, you see the object in the active voice that will act as a subject in the passive form, right? Same way, the subject in the active voice that will takes the object in the passive form. Clear? I think you know this, but still I'll just telling you. See, the subject in the passive form that will be changed, right? The active form subject will take the subject will be indifferent, right? Okay, so the object in the active voice will take the subject in the passive voice. Same way, the subject in the active voice will takes the position of object in the passive form. Okay, fine, yes. Okay, fine. So the formula for passive form, it is subject plus am, is, or plus verb plus v3. See, all the passive form will carry verb 3. What is a v3? Take for example, if I'm writing you here, speak This is verb 1. Spoke, that is verb 2. Spoken, that is V3. And write, that is V1. Wrote, that is V2. And written, that is V3. Got it, children? Okay. So all the passive form verbs will come in the V3. Right? V3 form. Right. So I have given you an example. Just listen. He receives a letter. Right? So as I told you already, he, that is subject, and then verb, see here, S. That's what this one here it acts, this one, right? So verb plus S. So that as, and then the third one it is, as soon as the verb got over, the remaining will be taken as object. Okay. So subject, verb, object. Subject, verb, object. Got it? Just a match with the formula. And then when you see in the passive form, what is the subject? Am, is, or plus V3 plus by plus object. Okay, what is the subject? You have to begin the sentence in the passive form with the subject. So as I told already, right, the object in the active form will take the subject in the passive form. So what is this? What is the subject? A letter, right? So a letter. Okay, fine. And then am, is, are. So what B form we have to use it is, since the object it is singular, we should use this is, right? If it is a plural, then you have to use are. Okay, fine. Since a letter it is singular, we have used this one. And then, okay, what is the third one? V3. What is the verb? What is the verb here? Receives. So receive, received, received. Only the same. So received, and then you have to use by, and then object. What I told you, object that will be there in the subject, it will as an object over here. Okay, so subject, B form verb you have to use, and then after the using of B form verbs, you have to go for the verb 3. What is the verb 3? What is the verb here? Receives. So receives, receive, received, received. So received you have to write V3 in form, you have to write, and then you have to add by, and then the object. Object where you have to take, you have, what is the subject in the active form that will carry as the object in the passive form. Okay, fine, yes. So this is a simple present. Okay, we will move on to the present continuous. So if you see present continuous means, you can easily identify the present continuous by two things. One is am, is, or plus verb plus ing. See, here also am, is, or, but at the same time here V3, right? In passive form V3. But in the present continuous, you can easily identify the sentence it is in the, how it is in present continuous means verb plus ing will be there. Verb plus ing. So what is the formula for present continuous in the active form? That is subject plus am, is, are plus verb plus ing plus object, right? So what is this? We can example sentence I have given here. So what is this? He, subject. So since it is he, she, it means you have to use is, right? So if the subject is, it is plural, then you have to use or. If I comes means you have to use am. So since why we have used is, because the subject is he, she, it. If these three things comes, you have to use is. So subject plus am, is, or, right? Am, is, or plus verb, right? Verb receive plus ing, receiving a letter. Same way in the passive form, what is this? What is the thing it is? You can have only one new word in the present continuous for the passive form. What is that word? It is being, right? So listen here, being it is used only in the continuous tenses, right? Being it is used only in the continuous tense, that even in the passive form. So passive form continuous tense, you will come across this new word being. Okay, right. So what is the formula for this one? It is subject plus am, is, or the same plus being, one new word, that is being plus, as I told you already, V3. So all the passive form, the verb it should be there in the past participle, right? V3. Okay, and then by plus object. So what is subject? As I told you already, the active voice object will carry as a subject in the passive form. So a letter, right? Am, is, or. Since it is a singular, we have used is, and then you have to add what? A being, right? And then v3 means what? A verb. What is the verb here? Receiving. So receiving verb, it is receives. So received. So received, and then you have to use by, and then the object him. Okay, so a letter is being received by him. So this is by, and then object, and then v3, and then being, and then this be form verb, and this is subject. Okay children, right? We'll move on to the third one, that is past simple. See, past simple you can easily identify, right? Past simple you can easily identify. This one past tense, past word alone it will come. Take for example the second form. I told you, no. See, speak it is first form and spoke it is second form. So past tense, this second form we need to write in the past tense, right? So what is the past simple formula? The past simple formula is subject plus v2. You have to keep it in mind, subject plus v2, and then object. Okay, so subject, I have given an example here. Subject he, subject receive, right? Receive it is present, so in past tense you have to write as received, right? And then object, a letter, it is object v2. Subject plus v2 plus object, subject v2 plus object. Okay, so what is the passive form formula for the simple past simple? It is subject plus was were. Subject plus was were. See, if the subject it is singular, you have to use was. If it is plural, you have to use were. Okay, fine, yes, right? And then as I told already, all the passive form will carry this v3, right? And then by plus object. Okay, fine. So subject was were plus v3 plus by plus object. See, you have to memorize, or you have to keep it in mind, the formulas alone thoroughly. If you have this formulas alone thoroughly, means that will help you a lot, right? Without mistake you can write the answers, right? So whatever the sentences it is given, if you are well thorough with the formula, definitely you can get the marks, right? Without having any doubt you can get the marks, right? So once we'll have a small recap of this simple present tense, that is, what is the formula? Subject plus verb, or subject plus verb plus es, or subject plus verb plus es, and then object. And then passive for formula, subject plus am is or plus v3 plus by plus object, right? And then present continuous, that is subject plus am is or plus verb plus ing plus object. And then in the passive form, that is subject plus am is or. So continuous tense means you will come across as a new word called a being, and then verb 3, and then by plus object. So and the third thing, it is simple past, right? Past simple, right? So past simple means you have the, what is the formula? Subject plus verb 2, right? The second form you have to write it, and then object. So what is the passive form for the simple past formula? It is subject plus was were plus v3 plus by plus object, right? So after writing, I am going to give an example over here. Just listen. A letter subject, right? Since it is singular, we have used was. If it is per letters means you have to use were, but it is given what? A letter, that is singular, so we have used was. And then v3, right? So received, that is already in v2. So one more thing, received is the same, will carry over here. So received, right? v3 received, and then you have to use by, and then object, what is there in the subject, that will act as an object in the passive form, and then over. Okay, right? And then past continuous, right? Past continuous, right? Past continuous, see, if you see past continuous, same thing, verb plus ing. See, in present continuous also verb plus ing, but here the be form of what you have used am is or, but here was were. Same way, am is or plus being, here was were plus being. See, that's the different, right? Only these two things are different when you compare with the present continuous, right? So what is the formula for the past continuous? Subject plus was were plus verb plus object. Subject plus was were plus verb plus object, right? So subject he, it is singular, so we have used a singular be form verb, and then verb plus ing, receive, receiving, right? And then object. And then here, what is the thing? It is a letter. What is the subject? A letter. This is singular, so we have used was. And then what is the third you have to use is being. Already I told you passive form will carry the V3 format. So received, 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 received by plus object him. Okay. So subject was plus being plus V3 received by plus him. You know very well, but still I'm just recalling all those things you have already learnt. Okay, right. So next one we will move on to the present perfect tense. What is present perfect tense? Present perfect. See, present perfect tense means you will come across two words, right? See how we take for example how it is continuous tense. If you come across continuous tense means, right, you will come across being. Okay, being. Same way, if perfect tense means you will come across two words, that is have, otherwise has. Have, otherwise has. So when you have to use have and when you have to use has. See, a lot of people they will mistake in this one. You know, if he, she, it, if these three comes, you have to use has. He has, she has, it has. Same way, I, you, we, they. If these things comes means you have to use have. I have, you have, we have, they have, right? And if you see a lot of persons, you know, when you observe keenly, they will make mistakes in the perfect tense while they are speaking. Take for example, he have come sir, she have come sir, right? They will make mistake over here. So as you know, a clear cut, we have to be we have to understand these things very clearly, right? So he has, she has, it has. And same way, I have, you have, we have, and they have. So you have to differentiate this how you have to use or where you have to use has and have. Okay, fine. So perfect tense means you will come across these two words have, has. Same way in passive form also you will come across have, has. Okay, right. What is the formula for perfect and present perfect? That is subject plus have, has plus V3. I take for example, if perfect tense comes, listen here, if perfect tense comes means the verb you have to use in the third form. If perfect tense comes, you have to use the verb in the third form. So passive form will carries all the verb will comes in the V3. Same way in active voice, the perfect tense comes means you have to use V3. Okay, right. So passive form formula, subject plus have, has plus been plus V3 plus by plus object. Okay, fine. He, subject. So since it is he, we have used has. Right. So perfect tense, what is the subject? So perfect tense, what is the formula for this one? It is subject plus have, has plus V3 plus object. Right. So subject. So since it is he, so that's why we have used has. And then received. So as I told you already, V3 means what? Received, received. And then object. So subject plus V3 plus object. And then the passive form, what is the thing it is? You have to understand the formulas, that is subject plus have, has. See how it is in the present continuous tense, you have used being in the passive form. Same way in the perfect tense, you will come across a new word, that is been. Right? See, in the present continuous, we have used being. Right? In the passive form, we have used being. Continuous tense, we have used being. Same way, in the perfect tense, you will come across this word been. See, don't get confused. Been, being. Right? Been for perfect, being for continuous. Right? So, subject plus have, has plus been plus V3 plus by plus object. So, a letter, that is subject. Since it is singular, we have used has. And then been plus V3. What is the V3? Received. And then by plus him. Okay. A letter has been received by him. Object. Okay. Right. Then past perfect. See, past perfect means you have to keep it in mind. In present perfect tense, we have used be form verbs have, has. But in the past perfect tense, only one. What is it? Had alone. See, if the subject may come in I had, you had, we had, he had, she had, it had, whatever it is comes, we have to use had in the past perfect tense. I had, you had, we had, she had, it had, they had, whatever in the past perfect and past perfect you have to use had alone. But in the present perfect tense, two things you have to vary it, right? Or if she, he, she, it comes means you have to use has. Same way I, you, we, they, if comes means you have to use have. Okay, fine, right. Next one it is past perfect tense. So past perfect tense formula it is subject plus had plus V3. As I told already, whatever the subject you have to use is had alone, and V3. Perfect tense means you have to use V3 in the active form as well as in the passive form. But for remaining things you have to use V3 only in the passive form, not in the active form. Okay, right. So past perfect tense subject plus had plus V3 plus object. So he had received a letter, right? And in the passive form, been. Passive form, see, perfect tense means been, continuous tense means being, right? Continuous tense means being. Listen here, continuous means you have to use being. Same way, perfect tense means you have to use been in the passive form. Differentiate, right? Okay, so subject plus had plus been plus V3 plus by plus object. So a letter, that is the subject. Had you have to use over here, and then you have to new word, that is been, and then V3 received, and then by, and then object. Okay, right. So a letter had been written by him. He, it will change to him. Okay, right. And then simple future. The last one, it is simple future. That is very easy. Listen here over here, right? So what is the formula for this one? It is subject plus shall or will, right? Either you can use this one, otherwise this one. According to the subject you have to use, right? And then verb in the present tense, and then object. What is the formula? Subject plus shall or will plus verb plus object. In the passive, shall, will, be plus V3 plus by plus object. Shall, will plus B3, V plus B3 plus by plus object, right? Okay, right. So if you come across I, right? If you come across I, maximum you have to use shall. Keep it in mind, right? If you come across I, if the subject I, if the subject is comes as I, you have to maximum you have to use shall. But if it is a determination, if the sentence talks about some determination or willpower, right, or hard work, then you can use I will. Apart from this, you have to use I shall. Okay, fine. He, subject, will, what is the verb? Receive in the present tense. A letter, that is object. Okay, and then in the passive form, subject plus shall, will plus be plus V3 plus by plus object, right? So a letter, subject, shall or will you can use, and then you have to use be, and then V3, that is receive, received, received, right? And then by plus object. A letter will be received by him. Okay, children. So we will have a quick go through of this formulas alone. We will quickly have a go through, right? So simple present tense, subject plus verb, otherwise subject plus verb plus es may come, otherwise subject plus verb plus es alone may come, plus object, right? And the passive form, what is the formula? Subject plus am, is, or plus V3 plus by plus object. Okay, and then the present continuous. Present continuous, as I told you already, right? Verb plus ing will come. Am, is, or plus verb plus ing, verb plus ing plus object. In the passive form, I told you what being will come for the present as well as the past, right? Subject plus am, is, or plus being plus V3 plus by plus object. And the past is simple, right? Subject plus V2, right? Wrote, the second form, no, in that one it will come over here, right? Subject plus V2 plus object, and then subject plus was, were plus V3 plus by plus object. A letter was received by him. And then past continuous, subject plus was, were plus verb plus object. Subject plus was, were plus verb plus ing plus was, were. And then in the past continuous, that is subject plus was, were, being. Continuous tense in the passive form will carries being plus V3 plus by plus object. And then past present perfect. Perfect tense means Three words: have, has plus had. If it is present, you have to use have or has. If it is past, you have to use had. Okay, present perfect continuous formula, that is subject plus have, has plus v3 plus object. Same in the passive form: subject plus have, has plus been plus v3 plus by plus object. And then the past tense, what is the past perfect tense? Subject plus had plus v3 plus object. Subject plus had plus v3 plus object. So past perfect tense, whatever the subject may begin, right, only you have to use had. But in the present perfect tense, according to the subject, these two words make them I, you, we, they, means you have to use have. He, she, it means you have to use has. Okay, and then past perfect, subject plus had plus been plus v3 plus by plus object. And in the simple future, so simple future means you have to use subject plus shall or will, right? So when you have to use shall, if the subject comes as I, right, if the subject comes as I, you have to use I shall. Otherwise you have to use what? Will alone you have to use. Okay, and then so subject plus shall, will plus verb in the present tense. Okay, in the passive form, subject plus shall or will plus be plus v3 plus by. Okay, so these are the important things about the active voice and passive voice, right? So according to this, we have seen formulas as well as the examples for each thing. Each tenses we have seen the formulas as well as an example thing. So apart from this, one more thing is also there, you have to know it, right? Apart from this, one more thing is there. See what it is. Another three forms are there. Okay, models, if it comes, how you have to solve, right? If you come across models, right, so models also has the same formulas, right? Subject plus model. See, we have 9 models, right? We have 9. What are they? No, can, could, and then will, would, then shall, should, then may, might, and then must. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So these 9 things are said to be models, right? These 9 are said to be models. What are they? Can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, and must. These are said to be models. We have 9 models. And apart from this, we have another section of this that we call it as semi-models. Semi-models, or we call it as quasi-models. Semi-models, or we may call it as quasi-models. What are the quasi-models we have? Right? We have 4 quasi-models, that is used to, need to, and then dare, ought to. Right? I'm sorry. Used to, need, dare, ought to. So used, the preposition to may come, ought the preposition to will come, right? Apart from the need, dare alone will come, right? So used to, need, dare, ought to. So these 4 are said to be semi models, or we call it as quasi models. And then the primary models we have. The primary models, what is the primary? As I told you already, am, is, or was, were, right, have, has, these are said to be primary models. And then the models, it is can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, must. And then quasi models, used to, need, dare, and ought to. This is very, very important, children. This models, it is a separate section for you have, right? We will see this in the next class. So models carries the separate things, right? Okay, so if you come across models, how we have to solve this one? Very easy. So what is the formula? Subject plus model plus verb plus object. Subject plus model plus verb plus object, and subject plus model plus be plus v3 plus by plus object. Okay, right? So subject he, model what we have used here. See, should, it is a model, so it is a model. And then verb receive, and then object. If it comes in the passive form, it is very easy. Formula, what is the subject? A letter. Model you have to use, and be alone you have to use. And then as I told you, the passive form means verb you have to write in the passive in the v3, and then by, it is compulsory passive form, all it carry by, right? So a letter should be received by him. See, a letter should be received by him. Okay, right. And model perfect is also there. What is this model perfect? See, subject plus model plus have plus v3 plus object. Subject plus model plus have plus. I think this is very new to you, so just listen very carefully, children, so that you can, if you come across any model perfect tense in the voice, means you can easily write it by looking go I mean by go through this one, right? So subject plus model plus have plus v3 plus object, this is the formula. How to solve, right? Subject model, what is that model we have used here? Should. And then have, and then see, perfect tense means, as I told you already, verb 3 you have to write it. Keep it in mind, perfect tense means verb 3 you have to write it, right? Right. So he, subject, model should have, it is used here, and then received a letter, that is object. So in the passive form formula, a letter, right, should have been. I told you already, perfect tense means in the passive form you have to use been. If it is continuous tense means, very good, that is being. Continuous tense means being. Perfect tense passive form means you have to use been, right? So a letter should have been received by him. A letter should have been received by him. Okay, fine. Okay, and then apart from this, you will come across a new term that is called imperative sentences. What is the meaning of imperative sentences? You know, ordering, requesting, commanding. So these things are said to be imperative sentences. So imperative sentences means how to solve this one. Very easy, children. This is very easy, right? So only three words will be there. Only three words will be there in the active form, right? Take for example, open the door. Open, it is what? Ordering or requesting. It can be taken according to the voice. So here I have used as open the door. That means ordering. So verb plus object. Only these two things will be there. Verb plus object. So if you come across this imperative sentences in active voice, how to change into passive voice? Very easy. You have to begin the sentence with the let. You have to begin the sentence with let. Let plus object plus be plus v3. Once again, let plus object plus be plus v3. Right. So open the door. This is active voice in the imperative sentences. Active voice in imperative. So passive form, you have to begin the sentence with the let. Okay, first step is over. And then what is the objective over here? The door. So bring over here the let the door, and then you have to use be. Be v3 open. That's all. Let the door be open. Let the door be opened. Okay, children. So imperative sentence means you have to use let plus object plus be plus v3. Let plus object plus be plus v3. So let the door be open. Okay, so these are the important things about the voices, active voice and passive voice, children, right? These are the important things about these things, right? If you have any doubt, kindly call. I think you understood these things. So once again, I'll post you this formulas alone. If no problem, you can take a screenshot. Already I think you have taken a screenshot also, no problem, right? So later classes I'll post you the formulas alone, right? You can have it for your references, right? So that's all for you today. Just revise these things, right? Formulas alone you can write it, or you can memorize the formula, so that you can easily change the sentence from active to passive or from passive to active, right, children? So take care, be safe, bye bye.